What's up, guys? Welcome back to Give a Shit. Today we are in a 2015 Mark 7 Volkswagen GTI. So I really like the new GTIs. The Mark 7s were a huge leap forward over the Mark 6s. So a major change that they had was they came out with a new chassis. So this chassis is called the MQB platform for Volkswagen. So they use this chassis through multiple different cars. They have it on the Passat, the new Jetta, the new Tiguan, and the new Atlas. Those both have like stretch versions of this. Then it also carries over to Audi as well in their A3s, their TTs, things like that. So it's a big Volkswagen Group modular platform. It is a fantastic chassis. It feels a lot tighter. It feels it's just miles and miles better. If you guys have only driven a Mark 6 and not the 7s yet, go drive a 7. If you have the opportunity, go do it. Now, these cars stuck with a 2-liter turbo. It makes 210 horsepower. This spec in the 2015 makes 210 horsepower and 256 foot-pounds of torque. Now that is a pretty fat torque figure. It is a very torquey car. Once you get into the turbo, it's just a nice little mid-range shove from that nice little torque number. Or just sitting behind the freaking car here, but yeah, it's a very nice engine. It's not super playful. It doesn't sound that great stock. I do wish that it sounded outside the car what it sounds like inside the car. Volkswagen kind of did that thing where you have like the little bit of the speaker noises, and I think they might have like a little tube coming from the engine and things. So they kind of did some of that, but it does sound good. But I wish it was a little bit louder. But that's just me. I also wish the turbo was a little bit louder. Like when you got on, you can kind of hear a little bit of a little psh, but it's all right. I mean, I like turbo sounds personally. I love turbos, but I mean, an intake could always fix that. So yeah, this car is equipped with an automatic transmission, but it's not just any normal automatic. It is a DSG transmission, and what that stands for is direct shift gearbox. That's what Volkswagen Group calls their dual clutches. So this is a dual clutch transmission, so the shifts are lightning quick. They really are fast. I mean, if you people have only driven like older DSGs, like in say the Mark 5s or in like diesels and such, this one is a lot faster. If you just leave it in drive, it'll shift normally. I mean, you can't even feel them. It's so smooth. Kind of keeps the revs down and things. You don't have to stop. Keeps the revolutions down. It gets you good gas mileage and things. But if you throw it in sport mode and manual mode, whatever it is, it rattles those shifts off lightning fast. So that is very nice for this car. Another nice thing about the new Mark 7 is the steering ratio. So like this car, from full lock to full lock is 1 turn. Maybe a couple degrees more than 1 turn, but like there, 1 turn. All the way locked, and it still has a fantastic turn radius, as you can see, as I just whipped a little U right there. Whereas like say the Focus ST that I drove a couple weeks back, if you haven't checked that out, go look at that video. That steering ratio is it's shorter than it's not even 1 turn from lock to lock. Like, it's freaking crazy. I'll give this guy a little bit of room here. But yeah, another thing about this car is that it has driver mode, so you can put it in either normal or sport. All right, I'm gonna get in front of him. And that will kind of put some more weight on the steering rack. Now, it does feel a little bit artificial, but it's nice. It's still good. So if you then kind of throw it in from drive into manual mode, and you can use the paddle shifters here, it really gets those gears off. Bang, like ooh, it's bang, bang, bang. Like, it gets those gears off perfectly well. Now, if I just kind of throw it here in sport mode, little button on the right next to the gear shifter. The steering rack, like I said, is a little bit tighter. The suspension firms up a little bit, so you can take these corners a little bit faster, and it corners pretty flat too. It's pretty grippy. I do wish it had stickier tires. Now this car is still on its stock all seasons, so it kind of feels like it's kind of struggling to put the power down. But that could also be the nice little downshift. This transmission does block the downshift very well. And with the DSG, you get the little DSG farts as you get in the power and shift. It's a nice little. It's not as loud as Audi. I do wish that was a little bit louder again, but like I said, aftermarket exhaust, intake, downpipe. Man, these cars, I haven't mentioned that yet, but like these cars with a tune and a downpipe and an intake, man, you're making some serious power then, like a real good amount of power. Alright, here we go. I got a truck in front of us now. Ah, why is this road so crowded? But yeah, this car is a fantastic car. It feels very solid. As it is a German-made car, Volkswagen is known for like a solid feeling car. Like if you close the doors, it feels like it's a nice thud. Everything just feels very quality. It is a 2015, like I said, so it is a newer car. This car only has 23,000 miles on it, so it's still pretty fresh. But everything, like the materials up on the dashboard, even the dash here, like it is plastic. It kind of looks like it's carbon fiber, but like not really. They kind of, if you're gonna make it look like carbon fiber, make it look like carbon fiber, but it's whatever. But even that, like, it still feels quality. It's not bad. The shifter's nice. Like everything feels nice. You know what I mean? Like even up here feels good. This plastic, it feels fine. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the one thing about like the American car companies and like the Korean car companies. The things that like what you touch feels good, but everything you don't, like the upper dash up here, is very like hard plastic, and I always hate that. So it's kind of nice that this one doesn't have those type of things. Right, I need to whip around here. If I can beat this guy, just whip around. It does have a backup camera, which is also quite nice. So I can look at the little screen here. It actually like flips up out of the little emblem in the back, which is kind of cool, and it then hides itself away. So this car does get very good gas mileage with the DSG. I mean, it gets around, realistically, if you're doing like kind of mixed driving through some rush hour, but also through some highway stuff, you're averaging, what am I averaging here? Averaging around 31, 32, something like that. So it's not bad at all. But yeah, the nice thing about this too, the gauges look very quality. If you're comparing it to like, say the Focus ST, again, kind of going along with the German reliability, that's a joke. No, I'm just kidding. Like the quality still looks really good. The gauge is really clean, very easy to read. It has a little screen in the middle, so you can see all a bunch of different like layouts and things. So you can see like your consumption, your range, all that things. You can see your radio stations and a lot of different things. There's even a lap timer, to be honest. It's pretty cool. So yeah, one thing I do wish this had was the performance pack. The performance pack comes with 10 more horsepower, so it has 220 horsepower. And it also has a limited slip diff and bigger brakes. So I do wish it had those things. Like maybe in the really tight corners, it doesn't really put the power down as well as I wish. But again, like I said, it is on the stock all seasons. So it could probably benefit from some stickier tires and also probably that diff even. But yeah, little things. I mean, I still love a manual transmission. I do wish it had a manual transmission, but the DSG is a fantastic transmission. Like, there's no denying that. Like, don't look at this and think, oh, it's an automatic, you know, it's probably terrible. It's not. Like, it's actually super good, especially in these corners. Like, it downshifts for you, and if I take it out of manual mode, throw it in sport mode, it'll like predict when I'm braking. Not when it won't predict when I'm braking, but it'll downshift for me and right match them very nicely. So I'm coming into this corner, downshifts for me, and I come out of the corner. So it's very nice. So if I just throw it in drive again, it's perfectly livable, perfectly you know, satisfied and calm. You know what I mean? So it's a very versatile transmission. If you want to be sporty, you can be sporty. If you want to just drive, it's perfectly fine. You know, it's happy doing both, and it's so smooth. Like when you're getting on it, there's no drop in torque basically. Especially with this turbo car, there's not a whole lot of lag at all. Once you're in it, when you're shifting, like there's nothing. Once you're getting into it, yeah, there's a little bit. Volkswagen likes to put slightly bigger turbos on their cars, So there's a small amount of lag, but you know, turbo lag is fun. You know, like people talk crap about it, but actually it's kind of fun. It makes, there's an emotion to it. It gives you some sort of like, I don't know, driving experience. You know what I mean? But yeah, with this car, you know, it is front wheel drive, but there's not a whole lot of torque steer here. So if I kind of get on it from a stop, like there's a little bit, and it does tend to like kind of follow the ruts in the road a little bit, so you do kind of have to hang on for that. But again, it's more like driving in motion. You're not just sitting there and doing nothing. Like, you are having to drive the car, so it is fun in that respect. So like I said, when you hit the sport button or just the manual, the driver mode select button, if you hit sport, it does kind of firm up the suspension. But if you throw it in normal, I mean, on this kind of rougher road here, it's a pretty terrible road to be honest, it's still not bad. You know, it rides pretty well. When it was new, they do ride a little harsh. Well, it's on the border of too firm and harsh, you know what I mean? So once it breaks in, it's not too bad. I mean, it is firm, but it's not bad. So yeah, I mean, the MMI system is very nice. They did update it in 2016, so it is a little bit faster in those models, but even the 15s aren't bad at all. The screen looks kind of pixely, but it's really not bad. You have multiple different menus here. You can do the whole radio thing. Obviously, if you get the option, you can have navigation. In the 16s, they actually have like a little like performance screen, which is kind of cool, so you can see like your boost, oil and coolant temperature, and all those kind of things, which is actually kind of cool. So this car is still based off the Golf, so you do still have a pretty decent back seat. It'll fit a full-grown adult. You have a sizable trunk, and it is still a hatchback. And the thing that people really like about hot hatches is that they're still practical cars. You can use them as your everyday driver. You can fit a whole bunch of stuff in the back. If you want to throw the seats down, you have even more room. Like, that's the beautiful thing about hot hatchbacks, is that you can have a lot of fun. You can tune them, you can do whatever, you can throw parts at them, but they're still practical. You have a good sizable trunk to throw anything you need to back there. Last couple things about this car: the driving position is really good. I really like it. It's not like the Focus ST kind of has a weird driving position, because like your knees are kind of high up and your butt's really low, so it feels kind of weird. You have to get used to it. It's not necessarily bad, it's just very different. Whereas this one's a lot more natural. The steering wheel is very nicely placed. It's very meaty. It feels really good in your hands. You do have a couple buttons on the steering wheel, but it's very cleanly done. You have the nice little paddle shifters on the back, obviously, as we take this nice little corner. The seats are also very nice. They hold you in place very well. They're not as grippy, say, as the Focus is, but they are still very good. You can get them also in plaid. I believe that's only in the slightly lower trim, so this one is an SE, so it's like right in the middle. But you might actually even be able to get an SE, but I do really like the plaid seats. They actually kind of feel like they hold you a little bit more, but even the leather ones are quite nice. And it comes with all like the nice features, like nice big sunroof, heated seats. I mean, you can get dual zone climate control, navigation, everything you really want. It's pretty nice. The GTI is pretty nicely spec'd. Now, they do tend to run a little bit more expensive. Like the Focus ST I drove a couple weeks back. If you guys haven't checked out that video, like I said before, go check it out. That one sticker, I believe, was a one around 30 to 31. And that one it had some more options than this. It had like navigation, heated steering wheel, things like that. Whereas if you wanted a similarly spec'd one, you're talking 34 for a GTI. So they do get a little pricey, I do have to say. But again, with that, like I was talking about before, you do get a little bit more quality and things. But I mean, it is a Volkswagen. A lot of people are scared of like reliability and things, but honestly, these new cars, especially the GTIs have always had a pretty good reputation for reliability. They're not really that bad, and the Mark 7s seems to be pretty good. There was a couple recalls, but as with any car there are, I think it was like the fuel pickup or something like that, or things like that, but you know, it happens. But yeah, if you guys haven't yet checked out the Mark 7, you guys are kind of in that market for a hot hatch or just a hatchback that you want to have some fun with, or whatever it is, definitely go check them out. They're really nice cars. They're really solid, good cars. So yeah, I mean, go check them out. You guys might like them, especially this DSG. It's pretty baller. If you sit in traffic and things and you still want a sporty car, DSG is the way to go. But I still prefer the stick. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know if you want to see more reviews. Hopefully I will be coming out with a couple more. Seems like you guys kind of like these. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name's Thomas, signing off for Division, guys. See you guys next time.